And right now we're going to send it over to Tom.
Every 60 seconds, someone in the United States dies from a heart disease-related event. Dr. Eric Serrano wants to help patients get ahead of their heart health. He's joining us today with information on a new network called Mdvip. Good morning, doctor. How are you, sir?
Hi, good morning, Tom. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. And you absolutely look the picture of health today, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Now, what is National Doctors Day? I've never heard of that before.
Well, National Doctors Day is a day to celebrate the contributions that doctors make. And on this day, I'd like to share my own contribution by sharing some information about heart health with people outside of my own practice.
And speaking of sharing that information, you know, what do you think it's important to have, or why do you think it's important to have a strong, healthy relationship with your doctor? And it's more of a relationship, almost like a brother and sister relationship sometimes, where you can tell that individual, the doctor, just about everything he or she needs to know about your health, correct?
That's right. I mean, since joining my Mdvip practice, I've been able to spend a lot of time with my patients. I mean, our follow-up visits are 30 minutes and our physicals are an hour. You know, I've really established a close relationship with my patients. They can call me on my cell phone, they can text me, and they can email me. So whenever they have a problem, you know, I pretty much know what's going on, I know what's wrong, and I'm able to see them the exact same day or the next day and sort through their problems. So it's critical to have a really good relationship with your physician. It's the way that medicine should be practiced.
And when you say a good relationship and the way medicine should be practiced, so many of us today feel that when we go to a doctor, it's almost like a conveyor belt. In and out, this room, that one, and then get out of here. And of course, they're trying to make a living. Everybody's trying to make a living. But when you're talking about sitting down and literally enjoying a conversation with your patient and taking the time, and so much of that is in a part of a healing process in itself.
That's correct. You know, the traditional model of medicine, they see 2,500 patients. They take care of 2,500 patients. You know, I'm capped at 600 patients. You know, patients are able to, you know, call me directly at any time, 24/7. So yeah, I think that's getting lost in the traditional model. And you know, this is a new paradigm shift for primary care. We consider ourselves the leaders in primary care. We have 800 physicians nationwide, and you know, it's just a different way to focus on healthcare. Most traditional models, they essentially are focused on sick care. And not only do we take care of our patients when they're sick, but we also try to figure out ways to prevent problems from happening in the first place.
I like that prevention. If I was doing my math correctly, normal doctors or doctors on average spend, I see about 2,500 patients. You're doing about 600, so you're really spending 3 to 4 times the amount of time with your patients each time they're in.
No, that's right. I mean, this is the whole reason why I went into medicine, is to establish these close relationships. You know, I can't tell you how shocked my patients are whenever I strap a heart rate monitor on them and take them outside the building and we go for a walk. You know, you know, in the old model, I used to tell patients to exercise, and that would be it. In this model, I actually put the heart rate monitor on them, and I show them that it's really not that hard to get their heart rates to the levels that we're actually asking them to get to reduce their risk for having a heart problem. You know, the screening that we have, you know, in terms of cholesterol, for example, to try to evaluate someone's risk for having a heart problem is just not enough anymore. We have simple blood tests that I check in my patients every year, looking at inflammation in the blood. And I sit with my patients during their hour-long physicals, and I essentially explain to them in detail how we can use this test to try to assess their risk for having heart disease or stroke. So, you know, we're finding that, you know, examples like Tim Russert shouldn't happen anymore. You remember Tim Russert, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you know, he actually had a normal stress test approximately a month before he died suddenly from a heart attack. You know, unfortunately, you know, knowing that heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women, you know, some patients don't have any prior symptoms or warning signs. You know, unfortunately, too often the first warning sign or the first sign of heart disease is sudden death. And so in my practice, you know, we're trying to figure out ways to assess someone through simple blood tests every year to try to figure out whether or not they're at increased risk. You know, the problem arises, Tom, is whenever we have patients who come in middle-aged and we tell them that their cholesterol and their EKG is normal, but they still are at increased risk. So this is one of the ways that we can assess them.
Dr. Eric Serrano, Mdvip, probably one of the best programs I've heard in a long time. Give those folks a call or go on the line. We appreciate you joining us today from New York City.
Tom, thank you so much.
And we've got more Low Country Live right after the break. Stay with us.